What up, good people? How y'all doing today? Welcome back. It's your boy D coming back at you for another video. This is D's Daily Due Diligence. All right, guys, if you did not know, and remember, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, so don't take it as that. Take it for educational and entertainment purposes only. All right, guys, we got some things to talk about today. First off, I'm gonna start off with the trade thing. I gonna want to give some thoughts and some opinions on that and some comments, and then I want to talk about the next thing, which would be, find something to learn about. That's why I love this channel. That's why I'm gonna give you some more details on that, but I always try to find things to learn about and share them with people and to help people. That's the main goal of the channel, to educate and to help people learn and change their perspective on how they look at things, right? Because to me, the mindset is everything, and the more positive you are, the more positive your life will be. Just to give you some ideas on what I'm going to talk about there. And then we're going to touch over again just a little bit more on the prospectus yesterday. I read it over again and I kind of caught a couple more things, but a lot of it was just legal terms and a lot of verbiage that is just in print, just like fine print. And it's interesting today, right? With AMC, it was up 9.8%. That's the good news. The bad news is the SPY hits a year low. Okay, it's at the lows of the year again, and it went a little bit lower actually. So it's set a new year low as far as the SPY. All right, and what I notice here is that the meme stocks like GameStop is also up 6.76%. And then right now at the end, because we got about 4 or 5 minutes till the market closes, BBIG is up 8.2% with just a straight line up right now, making some moves. So kind of maybe some negative beta there going on with the price action on the meme stocks. All right, but yeah, first off, let me talk about I'm looking at my screen over here. I got some notes. So trades, guys. I feel for him. I can relate to him. I respect the guy, but he is very young. I'm a little bit older than he is, probably a few years or more. And I've had more experience in the market. I remember he said he started in the market and in YouTube like December 2020 or something like that, right? So I have a few more years in the market with him, and when it comes down to it, it takes a lot of mental strength, takes a lot of knowledge and studying, and it's not an easy thing to be in the stock market, because it's always changing too, is what you have to remember, that it's liquid, it moves. Okay, it's not, no 2 days are the same. I watched him for a while, right? He did help me learn about AMC, and that's why I respect him, because he took the challenge to try to expand, even though he just started with AMC and just that topic in that channel. That's what his channel was mostly about. Then he expanded and he started teaching people, about what goes on in the back, and the mechanics and options and all this other stuff, right? So I did pay attention to that, and I respect him because he helped me push myself to learn more about the market, and I had to study more and level up my knowledge, right? But that's what I do appreciate about the whole movement, about the community, the AMC community, is that we have taught each other and we continue to push each other to learn more. And the only thing that's hurting us right now is the time, because there's a lot of new investors, and that's the psychological game. So it affects a lot of people, right? Because they're like, well, this is taking forever, this is taking forever. Because in their mindset, with the short squeeze, they thought it was going to happen in a month or 2 months or 3 months or whatever. Like, a way shorter time span than what it's actually taking right now, right? But if you already have your conviction, then you already know, and you did your DD, and the YouTube community compared to the AMC community overall is very small. The YouTube community, right? The AMC shareholders are vast and wide. I hope Trey can work on his mental health. Just kind of, there's been signs of him just, kind of being anxious or whatever, or just not really being able to handle the mental strength that it takes to be the YouTuber. But, no one's in his shoes or anything. Only he knows what he's going through. Everyone has a different journey. And on YouTube too, everybody has a different journey. So I just wish him the best, right? I hope he can, kind of collect himself and reorganize and reset, which is, it looks like that's what he's doing, right? He's trying to level out again, I think, but it looks like he's been through a lot. So, I feel for him. And I agree, this is a lot of work, right? The YouTube channel, I mean, it's a daily thing. I work a full-time job and I do this. For him, he went full-time on this, and I would rather be doing this full time, right? But it just doesn't bring me enough money to be, paying all my bills and living a normal lifestyle, right? So I continue to work and I continue to learn and I continue to try to grow and to grow my channel as well, right? Because it's my audience too. I love this channel because it finally gave me a voice personally. I treat it like a small business. That's the way I look at it, and it's not even a year old, all right? I haven't even been doing this for a year, so it's still a new business, but I've seen progress, all right? And that's all it takes. I'm gonna keep grinding, keep grinding. That's why when I first started, I had already been in the AMC movement. I had made moves and stuff, and I've been in the market, but I didn't want to make my channel just about AMC because I saw the longevity of that, and I said, why not come in and try to teach people, different things, mm, different ways, mindsets, and so on. So, um, what I want to say right now, like I'll show you guys, like if we were all in one room, um, it's pretty impressive, all right? Like that's the way I always think about it. Is if like all my subscribers and I were in one room, I mean, how would that be, right, in real life? Like, holy crap, I'm almost at 400 people. I mean, that would be a lot of people in one room. And my mindset is made up, right? Like I will be successful. I know I will be successful. It just takes work. It's not easy. By choice, by studying, by reading, I have made up my mind that in the long term, right, when as I'm growing and going here in my life, I will end up being successful, all right, because my mind is already made up that way. The next bull market is mine, all right, because of all this stuff that I've learned and what's going on and how to make money and so on in the markets. And the next, how I've taken advantage of other bull runs. Right now we're in a bear market. We can't help that, right? I mean, it's the overall economy. We're in a bad place, all right? Everyone knows right now it's tough times. I would say we're in a recession, and maybe this is gonna last a few months longer, right? If we don't get the squeeze, and the shorts are able to hold on to their positions too throughout this time, then I have no doubts that AMC will run up eventually, right? And especially in the bull market, I think it would help a lot. But I'm not giving up on the play. I still believe in it. I think the only thing that can hurt us is ourselves if we start selling off, if we get rid of our shares and just give up, right? Because we own a lot of the percentage of the shares for AMC, which has never happened in history. And you have to remember too that AMC is over 100 years old, right? And Adam Aaron, I think he's doing his best as the CEO to keep the company alive and to be able to make it through these tough times. But yeah, I mean that's just the truth. It's just this overall bear market in the economy. It's just hurting all of us. Okay, and that's why I keep saying the next bull market will be mine. So let's go ahead and switch up the scene here. Go down. So yeah, I just want to thank all the subscribers because we're about to cross 35,000 views on the channel, and to me that's awesome. That's good news. That's progression. The next thing, right, like I want to show you guys, right, if we were all to be in one room, this is pretty much what it would look like, which I think is pretty cool. I didn't really visualize it until I typed in right here, right, 400 people, just to kind of see what it looks like. And this is pretty much us right now, all right? So that gives me something to smile about, and to, like I said, it gives me, like, I feel like I have a voice, holds me accountable, and I want to come back to help people and teach people, right? So I'm about to put you guys on some game right here real quick. Back in the day, right, in my 20s, like I think I was like 24, 25 at the time. The girl I was dating, her and I were in this like Ponzi type scheme where you have to get other people underneath you and so on. But the good part of the whole experience was that it told, at the meetings that we had and stuff, they told us to read these certain books and so on, and to learn about self-growth and managing money and finances, right, and all that stuff. So these are the books that I read, and the first one I ever read was The Secret. So I really recommend reading this book or watching it. There's a video too, you probably find it on YouTube. But the first thing that how this all started with this mindset, right, that I have is I was in the recliner, and because The Secret teaches you to visualize before you even have it, you have to think of it, right? So I was in this chair and I was visualizing because I was driving a really crappy car at the time, right? It was a beater and it was breaking down and so on. So I visualized myself in a nice sports car, right? I remember I was in the seat and I was, switching the gears and just visualizing myself just driving it, going crazy and whatnot. And it didn't happen the next day, it didn't happen the next week or anything, but a few months later, I ended up getting a G35, and that's a nice little sports car. It was fun to drive. I had that car for a while. It was a V6, right, turbo, and it was nice. Like, it was fast. It started giving me a lot of issues over the years, but so I got rid of it. But it all kind of started with that. I remember that part in my life significantly, right? Because that's kind of when things started to shift and change in my head. And these are the books that I have read personally already. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go buy another book, maybe on stocks or self growth, right, on markets and patterns and so on. So this was the first one I read. I'm going to recommend these. If you have not read these books, they will change your perspective and your mindset and your brain dramatically. There's just such good information in these books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Master Key to Riches. The most recent one I read was The Go Giver, and that one was actually given to me, which is really cool. Just by some guy that I ended up, meeting, and he had his own business, and he's like, "Hey, have you ever read this book?" I was like, "No," and he ended up just giving it to me, and that's where I learned the message of like the more you give, the more you receive, and I really, took that into consideration. There's like these 5 laws in here about being a go-giver. That's what it talks about in there, and it has a cool little story about a guy who's really successful and everybody loves him. And it's like, why does everybody love him? Because he was always a giver, right? He was always willing to give more than he received, which gave him his wealth, right? So you'll have to read all this to understand. And then I really like these books too, right? The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's how millionaires and rich people and wealthy people, how they stay busy and they make the moves they need to, because right, I could be just playing games, video games, or watching Narcos and Netflix and all these TV shows online and whatever. You could be using your time that way, but I always try to use my time in the best way possible to help my long-term goals. Okay, so these are some free game, guys. I really recommend to my subscribers, right? This is free game right here. Read those books, and I'll let you guys know what book I go and buy here soon. Okay. So the next thing, yeah, that was something to learn about. That was the second thing I want to talk about, and then let's just talk about the third thing, which is the prospectus. Every action has a reaction. All right, so that's why I don't think AMC will go to zero or anything like that. I mean, it's just tough times, but here's just the plan of distribution. I'm just gonna read some of this stuff real quick to give you some more details. But we have entered into a distribution agreement with Citigroup, as we talked about yesterday. They're a sales agent, and they may offer to sell from time to time. Okay, from time to time up to 425 million AMC shares. So right here's where I'm just gonna say I don't think they're gonna drop the 425 million shares all at once. Gives you some more details there, but that's what stuck out to me. And each time that we wish to issue and sell the preferred shares as far as AMC under the distribution agreement, we will notify a sales agent of the maximum number of shares to be issued, the dates of which such sales are anticipated to be made, any minimum price below which sales may not be made, and other sales parameters as we deem appropriate. Once we have so instructed the sales agent, unless the sales agent declines to accept the terms of the notice, the sales agent has agreed to use the reasonable efforts consistent with the normal trading and sales practices to sell such AMC preferred equity units up to the amount specified on such terms. All right. So the thing is, they do have to put out a statement, right? A lot of people have wondered, like, oh, can they just sell these without us knowing? No, they do have to legally, like, put out a statement, right? Like, we're selling this amount, X amount for X dollars. Okay, they can't just like do it behind our back and just sell shares. So I wanted to touch on that, and they are also paying 2.5% of the gross sales price as part of the agreement. All right, and it's under the distribution agreement up to $250 million of gross sales proceeds and 1.5% of the gross sales price per AMC of units sold through the sales agent. All right. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to touch on. Just the bad news, guys, is that the SPY is not doing so well, and it's just breaking resistance after resistance, or support after support. And like I said, right, this was the low in June, I believe, and now we're right there, a little bit under it. So we are in a crucial part, because it could, of course, just continue to go lower to the next support, which would be around 330 to 340, which would be more downside, or it could catch a bounce right here and start reversing. But you know, in my opinion, I don't think the next few months are going to be easy. We're going into the holidays. There's a lot of issues with the gas prices. If you go to Breaking Market News here on Twitter, they keep talking about you know, oil, and I've been seeing again the prices here where I live start to go up a little bit. Excuse me. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. All right, guys, that you just have to find something to do in the meantime, if we're not gonna see the squeeze right now. Okay. 16.5% still cost to borrow, and these shares were fluctuating, so there were shorts shorting today, obviously. And you know what you have to notice is just the amount of short volume that they're putting on this: 65%, 65%, 57%, 62%. Over half of the volume every day is being shorted into AMC. All right, guys. And yeah, that's what the information I got today. Let me go ahead and switch this up. The last thing here real quick, just on the AMC chart, is that we did catch a bounce. This is the daily chart, and here's the support. So it looks like we caught a bounce again with today. So what I want to see, right, is I want to break this resistance here that we formed. Wasn't able to break it up here, so I would like to see that break through with some more volume. But you know, who knows what's going to happen the next couple of days. I do expect these FTDs to start hitting the next few days. So that's for AMC. And if we remember, the 928, 43 million fails to deliver for APE are starting to come due. All right, so I want to see, that's what I've been looking for. But we'll have to see what happens the next couple of days, guys. Thanks for coming back. Hopefully you liked this video and enjoyed the information in it, because that's what we're going to do here moving forward, right? We're going to just learn and find some stuff to pass the time, because I am still an AMC shareholder, and I believe we're going to see a squeeze, a massive run eventually. Cannot tell you when, nothing like that, right? But I do expect it to happen, so I will continue to hold my shares and my position, and I'm happy with my position. So you know, I'm just chilling, just waiting. So let's learn some more and continue to be a positive person, keep that positive mindset and that work ethic, all right, because that's what the long term is all about. Okay, guys, so hope you have a good rest of your day. Catch you in the next video.